Hey everybody, Jason here, and in this video we're going to discuss the mutual lease termination. So basically, the situation that you may run into as a landlord where somebody wants to break their lease, and some of the things that we can do about it, some of the things we can look at, and just kind of touching base on some of those points. So I would say that if they are coming to you and saying, hey, I want to break my lease agreement, that's actually kind of a win, especially in situations compared to situations where they just take off on you and maybe you don't know, or they leave the place a mess or whatever else. At least there is a component of control here, and they're respecting you to a certain degree. Yes, they're not wanting to complete their lease agreement. They may have good reasons. So what do you do from here? Now, a lot of landlords will have a buyout fee built into the lease agreement. Some really believe in them, some really don't. Some landlords, they don't want anything more than the month-to-month agreement. So point being is know what's in your lease, and if there's a buyout in there, then honor the buyout. Make sure you know everything's in writing. Make sure you understand when they're giving their notice, or have them give a notice in writing, so you know when they're going to be out, and you can process everything just like a normal move out. Accept the buyout fee, collect it. I would say sooner than later. Perhaps even build into your lease agreement when that buyout fee is due if they decide to break their lease. It's probably not a good idea to try to collect it when they're close to move out for a lot of different reasons. The next thing is, of course, what happens if there isn't a buyout. Now, the thing is again, they've come to you and they said, listen, I don't want to, or I can no longer stay in this home for whatever the reasons are. The reasons really don't matter. I mean, if you try to have a debate on that, it's not going to change their mind. But the bottom line is they've come to you and you have an opportunity here to potentially make this, we'll just say, a win-win. So a couple things to consider. Can you work out a buyout? Can you say, okay, how much time do you need to make sure that you don't have a hit to your income? So let's think about, if it normally takes about a month to rent, can you do a buyout fee of 2 months? And can you work in provisions in this agreement to let you show the home while it's occupied during their 2-month notice period? Perhaps they leave. Perhaps they pay the buyout, and you get your 2 months worth of rent, and they're gone at the end of the week. I mean, know what the scenario is. It could be something that works out okay for you, outside of the hassle of having to find a new tenant and do all that stuff again. Another thing to consider when you are thinking about negotiating or trying to negotiate a mutual lease termination is what happens with security deposit. Usually the way this works out, now every state's going to be different, but usually the way this works out, if there's damages, the security deposit goes to the damages, and then if there's any past due rent, it goes to the rent after that. With a buyout fee, if there's no damage to the home and there's no buyout fee, and the buyout fee is taken care of, you may not be able to hold the deposit, or of course that could be potentially part of your buyout terms in the lease agreement, but make sure that is legal, because in some places that's not. In some places you can only apply the deposit to specific things. So again, back to knowing your laws in your state, your city, your county, where whatever ordinances you are beholden to. Obviously, get everything in writing. Make sure that the terms are spelled out very clearly with dates and amounts and all the parties involved. In that agreement of writing, you're going to want some sort of release of liability for both of you. A release of liability for the tenant, obviously, that they're no longer going to be liable for the remainder of that lease, and whatever those terms are, but that release of liability for you as well, that they are turning possession back over to you. So it shows that legal transfership, or that legal transfer of possession, and keeps you in the clear from them coming back and saying, oh, well, this happened or that happened. No, that agreement's over. You handed over possession. Here's our agreement, that deal. And it's probably a good idea to consult with an attorney as well, just to make sure everything is good to go. If nothing else, have them review your draft of that agreement before everybody signs to make sure there's nothing they would or wouldn't add to that. Always a good idea. And then finally, make sure to have all the adults that are on that lease agreement sign. If there's 2 or 3 adults that are responsible for that lease and you only have 1 or 2 signatures, that can be problematic. Make sure everybody that lives in that home that is on the lease agreement as an adult, minors you don't have to worry about, they sign that agreement and agree to all these terms that are happening. And you may want to, if you have 2 or 3 adults in a home when you're negotiating, you may also want to make sure to include them in the conversations as well. That's it. That's what I got. So if you are running into a situation where your tenant wants to break the lease and move, don't push them away too quickly. Talk to them, find out what's what, figure out the best way to move forward to where it doesn't hurt you financially. And perhaps when it's all said and done, you can develop this to where it's a win-win for both of you. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And if not, we will see you next time.